If Donald Trump has done anything, it has been to expose the rhinos within the Republican Party. All of those people who, of course, profess all of the Republican ideals and yet are more willing to side with Democrats over conservative principles. And of course, this is what we're going to see discussed with Scott Jennings over here with Emily Jashinsky on the After Party podcast. Before we begin, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe on this video so we can break through the algorithms. Here we go.
When did you, I mean, again, this is what's so interesting to me is I know Andrew Sullivan, for example, wrote a blog post on last Friday on a Substack about how he said, I get it, but I don't have Trump derangement syndrome because I am totally aware of, I'm conscious of what people call Trump derangement syndrome. And I just think his temperament, you know, he was talking about calling a reporter piggy and all of that. He said, I just think there's something I personally, Andrew Sullivan was saying, take seriously the question of style and temperament and comportment in public office. And we could have a separate debate about that. But it seems to me like that's that is maybe the fault line of people who come from sort of Bush, Cheney, maybe McConnell world to like half and half. Half went and said, no, this is an existential battle. We can put that stuff on the side. Then the other half said, no, I can't get over that. How did you kind of come to see Trump? Again, as you read, I keep using this quote from the book, but you say, quote, I had come to find a new respect for Trump in no small part because I began to see him as a necessary and strong bulwark against the political opposition that had lost its damn mind. When about was that for you? And how are you thinking about that? As I'm sure many of your friends and people you've been close with over the years were coming down on a very different side.
Yeah, look, during the 2024 campaign, I kept hearing these Republicans say things like, in order to save conservatism, we have to vote for Kamala Harris.
Incredible.
And, you know, as someone who had to sit out there and debate these issues every night, I could never sort of figure out why they were saying that, what they meant by that. And then I started to think about the underlying arguments they were making, the other statements they were making, and I realized that they weren't trying to save conservatism, they were trying to liberalize it. I mean, a lot of these people no longer vote for any Republican. A lot of these people no longer are pro-life. A lot of these people no longer really believe in any of the conservative stuff that we have all supposedly been fighting for the last 25 years. They let their personality conflicts or problems with Donald Trump completely and totally change what they claim to be fighting for. I mean, heck, look around. Nicole Wallace, one of the lead anchors over on MSNBC, we relied upon her for communications advice in the Bush White House. Mm-hmm. Now, this is somebody who built their career supposedly communicating with the American people about George W. Bush's conservative agenda. And now she is one of the most deranged Looney Tunes in American media. Okay.
Scott, what was that like? Can I just ask? It's not every day you talk to somebody who actually was hearing conservative messaging advice from Nicole Wallace. What was that like?
Well, I mean, you could see we had like a 30% approval rating during the second term that I was there, so it wasn't very much fun. I mean, but my question now is this. Did you ever believe any of it? You know, did you ever believe in it? I mean, Bush was a conservative guy. Did you ever believe in any of it? You know, Tim Miller, this other Looney Tunes, you know, he was supposedly a Republican operative. Now he is one of the most liberal people in our political affairs ecosystem. Did you ever believe any of it? And what is it about Donald Trump that made you change every single thing that you supposedly ever believed in? And I don't understand how one person could break so many supposedly smart and experienced people. But you look around, all these people who are making this argument that in order to save Republicans or save conservatism, you had to vote for Kamala Harris. I mean, that is the craziest bunch of crap I have ever heard in my life. And so that was going on, and then you had all the liberals making their arguments, and then you had Harris, who was objectively one of the worst candidates in my lifetime for any high political office. And I just, you know, I realized, look, I'm not going to be sucked under by these silly people and their silly arguments. I'm fighting a larger battle here. And the larger battle is, which of these people actually loves America? Which of these people is actually going to stand up for the West? And if Donald Trump does what I want him to do 95% of the time, and he loves America and he stands up for America, and Kamala Harris does what I want her to do 0% of the time, and we're going to spend our 250th anniversary apologizing to the rest of the world for America, this is an easy vote for me every day of the week. And so I was more than happy to vote for him for a third time. I was more than happy to make the case for him. I was more than happy to knock down these stupid arguments. And to this day, I still do not understand people who claim to be Republicans running around having voted for Democrats in each of the last 3 elections, having advocated for Democrats to win the Senate, having advocated for Democrats to win the House, having advocated for pro-abortion policies, having advocated for every liberal social crusade, and then have to look me in the eye and say, you know, you're hurting conservatism by supporting Donald Trump? F all the way off. That's what I say.
Tim Miller catching some strays here from Scott Jennings.
So that, of course, is the point. You have all of these principled Republicans, all of these rhinos, all these people out there saying, you know what, you can never vote or support Donald Trump because he doesn't represent the ideals of the Republican Party. Yeah, well, what do you represent, right? What are your ideals? Hoping the Republican Party loses to the radical left just so you can prove a point, right? As Scott Jennings says, if I agree with Donald Trump 95% of the time and not so much on the other 5%, then what option do we have? And by the way, I do want to preface this. We all know that Donald Trump is not a conservative, and yet miraculously, he actually upheld conservative principles more often than all of these rhino folks out there like in the Lincoln Project, okay? And yet they all have this extreme TDS where they're against Donald Trump on every single aspect and can't find common ground on anything, all right? But of course, here's the simple truth about Donald Trump. He's willing to listen. He's willing to change his mind. And if you just talk to him and tell him all about your woes and concerns, you can probably get him to change his policy. Because me personally, do I agree with every single thing Donald Trump has done? No, I don't. I don't like his H-1B1 visa stance. I don't like his Chinese communist students coming to this country stance. And I definitely didn't like his bump stock ban back from his first administration. All right. There are things I don't agree with him on. But by and large, do I like what he has done for this country? 100% yes. So you can put his demeanor and his attitude and his words on the side. What has he actually done? And that, of course, is the big point. What have all these rhinos actually done? Because they're out there advocating for Kamala Harris. Yeah, vote for Kamala Harris to save the Republican Party. Well, what did Kamala Harris stand for? Wide open borders, mass amnesty, woke DEI garbage, gender affirming care, right? That is what Kamala Harris stood for. And that was what the American people widely rejected. Basically, the march forward of the radical progressivism that's basically ruining this country. Okay. And we saw it over and over and over again. And even after she revealed herself to be the candidate, even though we have all of her past statements, you still had the never Trumpers out there going strong, not bending, not folding. So I guess they do have some principles. It's just principles that were against the Republican Party. And as Scott Jennings says, all of these supposed Republicans who are willing to abandon the party over mean words and tweets, you can just go and fall the way off. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and say hi to your mom for me. Do you like t-shirts? Of course you do. And now you can support the channel by buying an Angry Teacher t-shirt designed by me, Angry Teacher. So if you like America, if you like freedom, if you like liberty, then go ahead and click the link in the description where all designs, of course, are 100% mother approved. So enjoy yourself and find something you like today.